So next up, we have Kimberly Nowicki. She is a regional planner with the Cook County Emergency Management and Regional Security. So thanks for being here, Kimberly, and take it away. Kimberly, we cannot hear you right now.
Can everybody hear me now?
Yep. Thanks.
Okay. Hi, and again, my name is Kimberly Nowicki. I'm the regional planner with Cook County EMRS. And I'd first of all like to thank everyone, all the previous presenters. All the information is very helpful, especially with what, as we move into showing how all that data is so useful to the county response, and what we do to kind of bridge the information that is provided into useful information for our municipalities in Cook County. So I'd like to thank everyone for that, because I found it very interesting and useful. And as I move towards the presentation, I'll show you how that's so helpful. If you can move to the next slide. So we take our viewpoint on the rising lake levels is, we're watching that and monitoring that so we can assist the municipalities located within Cook County. There's not, we're looking at it not just merely because we're keeping an eye on it, but we're watching it for potential threats to our residents. So we look at it on a couple of different levels. If you can move to the next slide. So one of the things we do, and this is where the previous information would come in so handy for us, is what we do as a county is we have operational informational support specialists, and they monitor various sources for any kind of weather-related issues that could potentially impact our municipalities, especially along the lakefront or where there's bodies of water like Des Plaines and Evanston, anywhere that water is relevant to their threats. We have them monitoring that. They are available doing that every day. If they do notice something, they contact the National Weather Service. They get NOAA alerts, warnings, any kind of advisories, and they take that information and they will contact any kind of alerts to get more information for the municipalities. And when that's done, then they will send out the information not only in an alert like an SAU to the municipalities, but also they will send that out to our agency, including our 3 regional coordinators. And the county is broken up into 3 regions, north, central, and south. They also will disseminate the information. They will notice the timing of the weather event, and if there's any other factors involved, especially with the wave heights and tide levels that could impact lakefront flooding. And I know they monitor. There's a few wave height locations where they monitor, but as I said, any more information that we would get that they could monitor will only help us to be able to provide that information on a more timely basis to the municipalities to possibly have them prepare or get involvement from the county to have us support them quicker. So that's kind of what we do. We monitor the situation so we can give them the information as quickly as possible and as accurately as possible so we can move forward to posture them for a response if that's necessary. Right now, I believe there's 6 communities of the 135 in Cook County that are subject to lakefront flooding. I know that obviously the largest one is Chicago. They have a lot of support and they usually handle things on their own for Chicago, but we try to support the other 5 as far as the suburban municipalities and assist them when we realize something is potentially going to impact them. So as I said, when we notice that something's going on, they verify it. We try to get out the call as quickly as possible, almost like a tornado. We try to notify the municipalities as quickly as possible. And in doing that, again, as I mentioned, we notify the regional coordinators. They contact the emergency management agencies for those areas, warn them of the imminent weather projected, and again, try to posture them for a response if it's necessary. That could include anything from positioning pumps that could potentially push the water away from homes or streets, or put up retracticades, or to be able to put up signage if we're going to close off streets, something like that. And again, our agency supports the local municipalities in this effort. We do not take over for them, but we support them with equipment and personnel and information. And so that's our number one thing that we provide. We assist them. We help them coordinate. We, pretty much are their buddy through the process if they do have something that's going to impact their jurisdiction. So right now, as we move through, if there was an imminent threat to their municipality, we would be positioning equipment for them and getting them, letting them know what their options are, letting them know what the situation is. And again, throughout the entire response process with them, we would continually, refresh this information and continually update them on what we found out. And if you can move to the next slide. So once an incident occurs, again, we're going to go into the local jurisdiction and provide them with the situational awareness. And all of our information that we provide to them is to help them best make a decision in the best way possible, to gather every information we can provide to them and be pretty proactive about it. So that's why, again, all this information is so useful to all of us to try to give them all that information and make a decision. One of the examples I can give with that is when we had flooding about 2 years ago, we had a town that had significant flooding in the southeast suburbs, and we had to get all the pertinent information from river levels to determine if we were going to move water. We can move water up to a mile with our current pumps, and we can move the water very quickly. But we had to have the information of where the river was the highest to determine if we did have to move the water, where to send it to. We can't send it to, we had to make sure where we were sending it to was a lower level and that we weren't going to flood that area by moving this water. So that's one of the, one of our resources that we can use the river levels and again with the lake levels to determine, where should the water go. If we had a municipality that was on the lakefront and they were experiencing flooding, we need to know where to put the water so we don't flood any other municipality or community. So that's one of the things that we would do. We would talk to the local municipality, find out exactly what they need, streets closed off, pumps, whatever we need to do, and we would provide them with a lot of options for them to make a decision based on their information they receive from us and from other areas. Right now, I believe most of the municipalities that are affected by lakefront flooding are either north or central. I don't believe we do not have any municipalities in the south. So what we would then do is we would continue to assist them. There's another great example. We had a storm about 1.5 years ago. We assisted the town of Steger, that is a southern community. We assisted them. They were unable to facilitate their own damage assessments to determine the damage to their community. So what we did was we went in and we assisted them. We notified them of our capability. They were not able to let us know that they needed pumps in time, but we did go in and help them with a damage assessment to determine where the damage was based on their community. We did have the community of Steger, just to let everyone know, is half in Cook County, half in Will County. So we also coordinated with Will County to help this effort. And in doing this, we were able to come up with enough damage that they were eligible for a FEMA SBA loans to assist some of the residents or businesses in their community. So that's one of the things we did in a response and coordinating with the locals. to try to help them through these incidents the best we can. One of the other things that we provide to them is, while our regional coordinators are providing information to them, the Cook County as a whole will back them, especially with our coordinating with FEMA and IEMA. We notify IEMA of a situation when it's happened if we are assisting a municipality and there's a significant event. And then we will continue to help them coordinate with IEMA and FEMA all the way through the process of a state, local, state, and national declaration. So that's one of the other things that we provide to them. And that's why, again, the need for the constant updating of the information, the levels, where things are going to head to, what damage has occurred, what damage is potentially hasn't hit yet. Those are all important factors that we look at on a continual basis through the response and with the coordination with IEMA and FEMA. Next slide, please. One of the other things that we've recently done to help in these efforts is we recently updated the Cook County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan. The first one was in 2014, and we've just recently updated the plan in 2019. It's I believe, the largest or second largest only to LA County. It's the largest multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan in the country. We have, out of 135 municipalities, 121 of them are participating in this plan, including all the lakefront municipalities. So this helps us to be able to include their mitigation planning. They not only have to plan for other events, but also for lakefront flooding. So that helps us be able to assist them by seeing what their action items of what they need are and putting them together with other agencies that might be able to assist them. So in doing that, the multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan brings everybody together. We have 26 county agencies within Cook County, and we also work with IDNR with the state. We work with FEMA, IEMA, and we also work with some other agencies within the county as well, including some of our support response agencies. So we bring everyone together in this effort to try to make sure we have a network for mitigation as our municipalities are planning and responding and trying to overcome effects of flooding. And we have continual municipalities that are trying to continually recover from the 2013 flooding or other potential hazards, such as the derecho that occurred on August 10th. So we're continually trying to help them come up with ways to move forward and try to mitigate the situations that have already occurred and to prevent the ones that are going to potentially happen. Of this plan, we also work with the municipalities to try to best put their planning efforts into a context that will assist them to be able to apply for state, through the state for the federal grant funding that the representatives from FEMA mentioned earlier, the BRIC grants, the FMA grants, and the other grants. By being a participant in the multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan, all of the municipalities that do that are eligible for that grant funding to be able to come up with ways to help mitigate flooding in their communities. So I think that's a great effort to be able to bring the whole response of an event full circle for them, to be able to monitor, help them through the event, help them with the response, and then once it's over, to be able to assist the communities to look at what's happened and how they can recover and prevent it from happening in the future. And again, all the information that we can gain from the studies on lakefront flooding and the changes in the levels can all assist us with those efforts. We are constantly trying to, come up with new ways to, facilitate the networking process. One of the things we are working on is we are trying to make sure we have training to be able to facilitate training for our municipalities in determining what those best practices for coming up with mitigation plans that would help their communities, what that would entail, including cost-benefit analysis and items like that that could facilitate them being able to apply for grant funding quicker and easier. In including them in this plan that also assists them with working with their neighboring communities. So rather than having one municipality that's flooding, say Evanston, they can work with their neighboring, they can work with their partnering, and partner with their neighbors. They can work with Chicago. They can work with the other lakefront communities to potentially come up with a plan that would help, more than just one of them. So I think that's another thing that is great about the hazard mitigation plan, that we try to bring everyone together, have them meet their neighbors so they can potentially coordinate and plan with them for the future. So we are continuing on that path. If you can go to the next slide.
And Kim, I just wanted to let you know you have about 1 minute left.
Oh, okay. Well, we're finishing up right now. So, all right. So for future mitigation, some of the efforts that we're putting into play is to use the current studies that have been mentioned by their previous presenters to be able to get us that information quicker, as I said before, and to help improve planning efforts for our municipalities to get that to them. Also to coordinate with all county agencies to assist. Cook County has a lot of agencies that we work with within our own county, specifically our floodplain manager for the county, and to try to help with building codes and other items to help assist those lakefront municipalities. And he is working to reflect he's also working with the FEMA mapping project to help reflect those findings into those building codes, which I think is great. And the other thing is we're going to continue to help when we do have impacts to these locations, to help the municipalities simplify the emergency declaration process by teaching them what to watch for, what to make sure they keep track of, to help them know what that threshold is to meet that declaration process criteria. So I think that's all important. And like I said, I think that our efforts are all to make sure we do take these municipalities full circle with response and try to help them mitigate for the future. If anyone has any questions, you can go to the next slide. I think it's just for questions. I apologize, I meant to put my contact information. I'll make sure I share that so that can be forwarded to whoever would like it if you have any questions in the future.
All right, thanks, Kim. Does anyone have any questions at this time? I will say, Kim, as you sort of said right before you started, I really appreciate that you bring the perspective of how a lot of local players and local municipalities work with you guys at the county, but as well more state, regional, and federal partners, and you really framed that well. So thank you.
You're welcome.